What if the most damaging thing they ever did to you was not something you could see? What if it was not the argument, not the cold silence, not the thing they said in front of other people? What if the most damaging thing they ever did was make you stop trusting yourself? You remember something. You are certain of it. And they look at you calm, patient, completely unmoved. And they say that never happened. Or, you are overreacting. Or, you always do this. Or, I am genuinely worried about you. And you stand there. And something inside you starts to wobble. Because they seem so sure. And the more certain they are, the less certain you become. That is gaslighting. And if you have ever felt it, you know exactly what I mean. You do not need me to explain the word. You just need someone to finally explain what was actually being done to you. And why. Before we go further, if you are here because something in your relationship has felt confusing, because you keep second-guessing yourself, because you have started to wonder if the problem is you, this channel is built exactly for that. Every decode on this channel takes one specific behavior, one specific tactic, and breaks it down completely, so you can stop questioning yourself and start seeing clearly. If that is what you need, subscribe now. Every new decode will come straight to you the moment it drops. Now, let us get into this. Gaslighting is not an accident. It is not a misunderstanding. It is not two people with different memories of the same event. Gaslighting is a deliberate or deeply patterned strategy to make another person doubt their own perception of reality. And for covert narcissists, it is not just a tool they reach for occasionally. It is structural. It is woven into the way they operate. Because the covert narcissist does not survive scrutiny. Their entire system depends on never being held accountable. And the most effective way to avoid accountability is to make the person holding them accountable question whether they ever had a case at all. Let that land for a moment. It is not that they win the argument. It is that they make you forget why you started it. Here is what is happening beneath the surface. The covert narcissist has built an identity that cannot be wrong, cannot be flawed, cannot be responsible for harm. That identity is everything to them. It is the scaffolding that holds their sense of self together. So when you confront them, when you bring a concern, name a pattern, describe what you experienced, you are not just raising a complaint. In their psychology, you are attacking the entire structure. And the response is not logic. It is not engagement. It is elimination. Elimination of the threat. And the threat is your clear perception of what happened. So how does it actually work? What does gaslighting look like when it is being done to you? Not in a textbook, but in a kitchen, in a bedroom, in a message thread at 11 at night. The first move is flat denial. You describe what happened. They say it did not happen. Not I remember it differently. Not I think you have misread the situation. They say, that did not happen. Full stop. Delivered with complete certainty and zero hesitation. The power of flat denial is not in the logic. It is in the confidence. Most people, when confronted with someone who is completely certain, begin to doubt their own certainty. The covert narcissist knows this. They have learned, consciously or not, that calm, absolute denial plants a seed. And that seed grows every time you replay the moment and cannot be completely, 100% sure. The second move is minimization wrapped in concern. This one is more dangerous because it comes disguised as care. You raise something that hurt you. They pause. They look at you with something that feels like compassion. And they say, I am worried about you. You have been so stressed lately. You are reading into things again. Notice what has happened. Your pain has been acknowledged, briefly, just enough to feel heard, and then immediately reframed as evidence of your instability. You came to them with a wound, and they turned it into a symptom. The third move is reality revision. Over time, and this is the long game, the covert narcissist subtly rewrites the narrative of your shared history. The argument where they said something cruel, you were both stressed and things got out of hand. The moment they ignored you for days, you had pushed them past their limit. The pattern you started to notice, something you have brought up before, and they thought you had moved past. Each revision is small. Each one alone could be a genuine disagreement about memory. But together, over months and years, they create an alternative version of your relationship. One in which you are always slightly more volatile, always slightly less reliable, always slightly more the architect of the problems than you believe yourself to be. And the fourth move is the pivot to your credibility. When everything else fails, when you have evidence, when you are calm, when you have a witness, when you will not let this one go, they shift the target. Suddenly it is not about what happened. It is about the fact that you always do this, that you are never satisfied, that people have noticed, that they have tried so hard and you keep returning to the same thing. They do not defend the event. They prosecute your character. Here is what gaslighting does to a person over time. It does not just make you question specific memories. It rewires the relationship you have with your own mind. You start fact-checking yourself before you say anything. You rehearse conversations, not to be clear, but to be defensible. You begin keeping notes, or wanting to, because you have learned that your memory will be challenged. You apologize before you have even finished a sentence, just in case. You feel a low, constant anxiety that has no single source but that never fully lifts. And underneath all of that is the most painful part. You start to wonder if you are the problem. Not in a dramatic way. Not all at once. Just this quiet, persistent erosion. This internal voice that sounds more and more like them. That says, maybe I am too sensitive. Maybe I do make things bigger than they are. Maybe I do not remember things accurately. Maybe I am difficult to love. That voice is not yours. That voice was placed there. And naming that, knowing that it was placed there deliberately, through repetition and revision and the slow dismantling of your self-trust, is the first step to taking it apart. So what do you do with this? The first thing is to understand that gaslighting only works in the dark. It depends on you not having the language for what is happening. It depends on you trying to evaluate each incident in isolation, without seeing the pattern. The moment you can name what is happening, not just feel it, but name it, the mechanism loses part of its power. You do not have to confront them. You do not have to prove it to anyone else. You do not even have to be completely certain yet. You just have to start trusting the data your own nervous system has been trying to give you. Your body knew before your mind had the words. The knot in your stomach when they denied something. The way you went quiet in rooms where you used to speak freely. The exhaustion that came not from the relationship's difficulty, but from the constant work of managing your own perception. That was not anxiety. That was accuracy. You were accurate. You were reading something real. And the reason you stopped trusting that reading is because someone spent a long time and a great deal of effort making sure you would. That is not your failure. That is the effect of what was done to you. Now you know what gaslighting actually is. Not the buzzword. The mechanism. The 4 moves. The long game it plays inside your own mind. And knowing it changes everything. Because you cannot unsee a pattern once you have named it. You cannot unfeel the clarity that comes when something finally makes sense. Not the painful kind of sense, though there is pain in it. The grounding kind. The kind that says, I was not wrong. I was not too much. I was not falling apart. I was responding correctly to something that was being done to me. In the next video, we go deeper into the territory of how reality gets distorted. And this time, we look at something even more specific. We look at how covert narcissists use other people as weapons. How they quietly recruit friends, family, and mutual connections into a version of events that serves them, without those people ever realizing they are being used. It is called triangulation, and once you understand it, you will see it happening everywhere. I have gone into full detail on exactly how this works in that video. Make sure you watch it. And if today's decode gave you something you needed, a name, a frame, a moment of recognition, subscribe. Every video on this channel is built to give you back your clarity, one pattern at a time. I will see you in the next one.